Hi everybody, Judy Parcell here. It's a really, really nice spring day out and I feel really invigorated and creative, finally. I wanted to share with you something I've been playing with for a while, and I wanted to share the techniques of how to achieve this, as if this is of interest to you. I saw a British lady on YouTube doing this. It's inexpensive. It is very delicate and has many uses, and it's called fabric paper. Tough as nails. It is made by using, say, a canvas board that I've stretched a white garbage bag over and secured with painter's tape on the back. I try to get as many wrinkles out as possible. Then you put a cheesecloth over the top, and you take and paint over that or dab over that with a solution of watery white glue, like your school glue. And then you get that nice and soaked and whatever. And you take tissue paper. Now I have gift wrap tissue paper, and this one that I did here, I did with kind of a sparkly type of tissue paper. I laid that down on top of the cheesecloth that I just did. And then I came in with napkins I had, party napkins I had, and I laid those over all while it's wet. And this is done on tracing paper with alcohol ink markers. And the reason I use alcohol ink markers is because water and alcohol don't mix. If I had used watercolor markers, it would have smeared all over the place, because this is kind of a water-based project. I also came in later, and I'll explain this to you, and I used gel pens. But this was for the envelopes, because I'm a card maker. I did some stamping. I got these on Temu, by the way. Usually when you buy stamps online, they're about $7, $8 a piece. Get a sheet like this for 60 cents through Temu. They're just as good. Anyway, anything else? Oh yeah, you'll need a pair of scissors. You'll need a bucket of water alongside, because you're going to want to use that for cleaning your brush. A nice broad brush like this covers the surface a lot quicker. Now an 11 by 14 canvas that I put my project on is the same size as two 5 by 7 greeting cards, because I'm a greeting card maker. But your project itself, you can use, if you're a scrapbooker, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this in scrapbooking. You can even make small purses out of this. It's so tough. You know, stitch it, sew it, put a button on it, you know, whatever way you want to go with it. But it is a whole lot of fun. And anyway, I wanted to thank you for dropping by, and I'll see you in a few minutes and start the process of showing you how to make this. Hi, I'm back. Okay, I've treated this whole thing with the white glue. It's still wet, and you want to do this treatment with the tissue while it is wet, because this is a collage. So I'm going to take and place the next layer of sparkly tissue right on top. And if you go over, it's okay. Because tissue is delicate, and if you don't think you placed it in the right place, just lift it very gently. You don't want any pockets. Now just pat it down all over. And I'm going to work these bubbles out with the brush, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. Right now I'm just using my fingers and letting the tissue paper get saturated with the glue underneath. There's a spot. And we're going to go over this with glue again. One of the reasons that I stretched the cheesecloth was because I knew that just in its nature it would pucker on me if it wasn't stabilized and held in place. Now I'm going to take the brush and I'm just going to start right at the top again. Can't see that, but trust me, I'll start here in the center and work out. And what I do is I dab, because tissue tears so easily. If it gets too dry, dip your brush in again to the glue, because you want to keep this really moist. I'm going out to the outer edge here, because you don't want this tearing. Now there's pools of this, so you can borrow from the pools. And when the glue dries, those little sparkles will show through. Have you ever heard the term, what you resist persists? And I had this little snobby idea that stamping was for people who weren't artists. Oh boy, we get some weird thoughts in our head. But I ended up buying stamps. And I went to Temu for that because they were so reasonable. They were like 60 cents. Any place else they wanted $7 or $8 for them. And they gave you several stamps. Temu's shipping is free if it's $10 or more. And they are really aggressive advertisers. They know how to suck you back in to buy more. Okay. The free shipping is a historical event. It was started in the 1950s, where all the countries got together and they decided to set up a thing for free shipping, and they'd all throw into the kitty so that underdeveloped countries can ship their products for free. Well, China is far from underdeveloped, but at the time it was. Okay, so we got that done, and it's wet and it's covered, and I'm going to come in here willy-nilly, and I'm just going to throw a napkin on there. Part of a napkin. Now I tore the edges just to be more interesting rather than cut them out. And I did all this ahead, you guys, because I just think that's a better thing. You kind of figure out your composition before you put it in. It may not end up that way, but anyway, it's just a fun thing. Now it's interesting, now that these roses are wet, You know, these napkins are as thin as toilet paper if they aren't made with the same paper. So you have to really be a dabber in this case. Do not brush or you'll tear them. Okay, there we go. That was trying to pucker on me. Practice makes perfect, right? So they got some interesting textures going here. Okay. I'm going to come in like this. I think I should tear this. That is torn. Is it torn? No, it's not. I just want to tear it. Also make them different sizes. Don't make them all big like blotchy sizes. There we go. I'm going to try some right across the top of the other roses for the heck of it. See how that looks. Might look really interesting. Who knows? I've been very intimidated by collage for a long time, and I'm just getting into it. And I made a mountain out of a molehill over it. It's ridiculous. You know, watch a couple of YouTube videos and get over your fears, right? Okay. I'm very gently rubbing out the bubbles, and I'm really carefully looking. And I don't know if these are going to look good on here, or if they're too much. Now you can't see this, but down here on the corner, I took a corner and it was too much like a big X in the middle of the composition, so I'm adding something to break that up. And adding more over here. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't show you the whole composition because I have an iPad and it won't take in the whole 11 by 14. And I can't move this very well at this point, I don't think. Well, yeah, I can get underneath it. Anyway, if you look, okay, if you look at this, all I worked on was getting the bubbles out as much as I could, leaving a little white with the speckles, that'll be there. And then later I will probably do some stamping. Now I'm still wondering if doing something like this wouldn't be interesting, but I don't think it would be. I think it kind of fights it. I don't know, I'm going to put that on there anyway. Why not? Take a risk, take a risk. Okay, now the wonderful thing about alcohol ink is it won't smear. And this is tracing paper. Now, why am I using all these sheer papers? be fine. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm using all these sheer papers because this eventually, when you hold it up to the light, you can see your hand through it. It's translucent. It is the most beautiful thing, and yet it's solid. Yes, those are working out great. Perfect. Okay. Actually, that tracing paper works better than the tissue. It's all smooth. Now, I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to stop the video at this point, and I'm going to let this dry, and I'll come back to you and show you what I do to this when we're in, how I finish it up, you know, the final stages of it. So thank you for joining me in my quest to overcome my fears of collaging. And you have a great day. I'm going for a walk. Talk to you later. Well, I'm back from my walk, and this is dry. And you can see through it. See that? That's that translucency that I was talking about. Now, I thought I would try to do some stamping on this, just a couple of places. And I have this, why did I put that back in there? So hard to get out. Crazy, crazy, craziness. There we go. Okay, let me get this out. Alright, so on this stamp that I got from Temu, there's this one here. I'm trying to move this down so you can see where I'm thinking about putting it. Right here on the edge. Can you see that? Can't. Okay, here's the edge of the work. So I could put something like this there. Or, these are roses. I could put another rose there. And then I had one other place I wanted to do a stamp, and it would be down below. Right here. I'm trying to determine if I should do that or it's too much. You have to think about what you do. So why don't we take a risk, and I'll get out my stamping material. I'm going to use black, I think. Maybe I don't have black. Doesn't look like I do. I'll do Starry Night. I thought I had a black one. I guess I don't. This one's never been opened. I'll just use a red one. Okay, come on. Open up. Okay. Now this company's name is Palette, and they were so nice a few years ago. They just sent me these for free. And this is way before I had YouTube, and I just couldn't believe it, and I can't forget them for that. L'Amour Red Palette, a hybrid ink pad, acid-free. So I'm going to take this, gotta get this out of here, and I am going to take this rose, and I am going to blot this all over. Make sure this gets on there. Okay, move that. And up here is where I thought I'd like to place this. Kind of doing this backwards. You're supposed to put it on this thing first and do it so that you get an even print. Now I'm going to lay it right in there. Can you see that? Yeah. And I'm going to press. Press, press, press. And then I'm going to lift it off. And there you go. It's sort of a suggestion of another rose there. Now down here, and I want to tell you, you have to put the ink on it every time you use it because it's not enough. And another way to do this is you can take and just brush this over the rose. Make sure you get it. Okay. Be sure to recap those. They dry out really fast. Now I'm going to come down here. On the corner. I hope you can see that. And I'm going to set that right there. And you don't move it, you just press down. Okay. Lift up, and you have a suggestion of a rose. And it kind of filled in that one spot. It's really kind of nice. The next step is to get this off of here, I guess. Yeah. Wow. It stayed on quite well. Don't mind me, I'm chatting to myself. Is you take this extra tissue paper off of the edge, and it probably should do this with a pair of scissors, which would be better. Let's see if I can take this down here and show you. Right on the edge, and the edge of the plastic, because this is really a sheet of plastic at this point, you guide your scissors very easily and give you a nice smooth edge. Come on, lay down. Now there's the cheesecloth that's hanging over. Just cut that off. You don't need that there. Anyway, you go all the way around like this. And you clean it all up. Can you see that? That shadow from the afternoon is there. It's very hard to get rid of that. Okay. Anyway, you go all the way around the edge and you just trim it away. If you want to cut into part of the plastic, you can, but I don't see a need for that. And here's that cheesecloth again, hanging on for dear life. One of the wonderful things about this design is, see the cheesecloth through that? Isn't that pretty? And then plus you can see your hand through it. So, so very nice. Let me finish this up and then I'll show you what the end result is. I'm just getting the cheesecloth cut off of it. This is such an inexpensive project, and yet you get some very, very nice results. Anyway, I'm going to stop it here so you don't watch this whole process. That's going to take a while, and I'll be right back. Okay, I changed up the lighting here a little bit just so that you could see it, because the sun was making everything so stark. And I finally trimmed it all up around the way I wanted it, and it's beautiful. It really looks nice. See that? I did a couple stamps here and one down here with a rose stamp. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece. Now I want to show you the back side of it. You can really see the cheesecloth now. And it's interesting where I used alcohol ink, that kind of bled through. Not the other color so much, but the alcohol ink actually did bleed through a little bit. But this is alright. This is the underside of the whole thing. You can use this for scrapbooking if you're a scrapbooker. I'm a card maker, so that's what I'm going to be using this for. Now, imagine this as a card. That in itself is very, very pretty. You could cut one out like that, or you can cut cards out like this. That's very pretty. And there's another thing you can do too. If it's going to be a card, that other half of the napkin that you peeled apart, you can go in and glue this on just like you did the first time by dabbing it on with a brush with the same white school glue, and wait till that dries, and then you'll have a place to write notes. Now, the end result for me has been something like this card. And this was left when I used this piece here and I line the inside. I can write something in here. Happy birthday, get well, miss you, whatever I want to do in this card. And then I had a little fun with the stamping. This card, I cut it to fit an A7 envelope, and I stamped here with the envelope. And stamps are kind of faint, so I went in with gel pens and I just filled that out. And so when you get done, your presentation is going to look something like this. Very, very nice. Another one I did was this one. This one's really puckery. But it won't break because it's made with that plastic glue. Now here's another envelope. I stamped it, and I did that with it. And I did it on both ends. So you can put the address here and your stamp here, your return address, all that up there. But that just sort of ties it all in with the other one. So I'm going to do that. And then I made this one. This is another napkin I had. I got from Dollar General, and really nice. And I did the same stamping process for the envelope. And this is interesting because when I did this one, I could make this the front, or I could flip it over and make this the front of the card. Either way you go. That's true for this one. Flip it over, and you can do it that way. Same for this one. Flip it over, and you can do it that way. So you get a lot of options with these. And like I said, this is a very inexpensive craft project that you can do. So that concludes this project. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I know I had a really good time, and I don't know yet what way I'm going to go with this, but I might just leave this where the threads are showing on one card, and then the threads aren't showing on the other card. So, have to see, but I can get 2 whole cards out of an 11 by 14. 5 by 7. Anyway, thank you for joining me in my studio, and, oh, there's my little butterfly. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.